Hello, everybody out there, and thank you so much for tuning in to today's panel where we talk about the pathway to pro in esports. My name is Danny Martin, and we have an awesome panel of individuals who represent so many facets of the esports space, from education to professional gaming, and even corporations and entities and individuals who founded companies inside of the space. And so, for us, we really want to showcase the value of esports and gaming and the opportunities for individuals to enter into the industry and excel. And I know that this panel and this conference have never seen esports. And so our job right now is to give the insights from all perspectives. And we're going to be able to speak on some of the cool things about the space, some of the obstacles, some of the challenges, and some of the opportunities that are there that most people don't even know about. If you are a parent, if you're an educator, if you are a aspiring professional player, this is the actual panel that you will love to be able to listen to. So I'm going to do a quick introduction. Thank you again for everyone that's tuning in, and feel free to put any type of questions that you may have in the chat. Again, put any questions that you may have in the chat. Okay, so my name is Danny Martin again. I am the founder and CEO, co-founder and CEO of Esports, which is an ed tech platform that focuses on providing career opportunities for individuals in the space, not only from the competitive side, but even behind the scenes. We do that by way of our facility in Duncanville, Texas, and our proprietary technological platform that provides content, assessments, while at the same time utilizing our functionality to give immersive experiences for individuals to showcase their portfolios, not only to their teachers, their admins, but the prospective employers. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce our panelists. So first up, we have Christopher Turner. Christopher Turner, talk about it. Speak your knowledge, my man. Give a bio and give the individuals a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, Christopher Turner, born and bred Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I am the GM and head coach of Southern University Esports, also Southern University Laboratory School, which is a pre-K through 12th grade school that's a part of the Southern system. And I'm also coordinator of Southern University's Law Center Mixed Reality Virtual Innovation Gaming and Esports Institute. Got in the space for roughly 4 to 5 years ago. It's been a great trip. Glad to be here amongst my peers, ready to have some great conversation. And I'll be here all day because if you let Danny and Derek or Brent tell it, I have 10,000 jobs.
And 10,000 emails.
That's it.
That's awesome. So this is Blackest Tech, man. This is going to showcase to you the individuals that are behind the scenes and that are doing it in esports and gaming. So without further ado, Brent, Aasgaard, speak yours.
How's it going, man? Thank y'all for having me. So my name is Brent Aasgaard. In the gaming community, I'm known as Lord Beezus. Currently, I'm a professional gamer for Utah Jazz Gaming. It's my second season with the team. Third season in the league. I can just truly say I'm blessed to be able to do what I love and wake up and just be happy with my career. So I'm happy to be here. And then any questions, I'm looking to elaborate later on, man. Thanks for having me again.
That's awesome, my man.
Got a nice squad to run with. Those that don't know me, High Point Gamer, CEO, co-founder. We started by producing tournaments in the community. Quickly saw the growth of esports, working in the NBA 2K League with professional gamers and organizations, and decided, hey, this is a true pipeline into economic empowerment for a bunch of people that I know at the hood that ain't able to do some of the stuff that we're able to do here in the esports space, and decided, hey, how can I champion for more participation so that we all can take care of our families and be respectable in our communities?
I love it. That's awesome. So first question goes out to Brent, because once everybody is, gung-ho on esports and they look at it from a perspective of competitive gaming. So, Brent, if you were yourself 5 years ago where you were, but if you had to go back 5 years ago, what was your experience like? And were you inspired to be a professional gamer? What were some of your experiences? Kind of speak on those and how you became a professional NBA 2K athlete.
Yeah, so for me, 2K has been a part of my life, and I've been making money playing 2K for 20 years now. So, but to, I guess, be considered a professional. So I was just scratching and crawling, man. Like the league wasn't like finalized and like for certain yet. So, but once I heard that the opportunity presented itself, I was like, this is the next step. This is where I need to be at. So in my eyes, I was just looking at it, if I need to do anything possible to make sure I'm here, because if I'm looking to grow and just be able to do what I love, this is the next step. So I was just reading and researching and whatever I needed to do to make it happen, to grow my brand and make sure that I'm the guy who needs to be chosen. I was doing that and just putting myself in that position to be spotlighted.
I love it. And, Brent has the perspective of like the Jordan going straight into the league, straight out of college. And then ultimately you have like LeBron James is going straight out into the league out of high school. So, there was not a pipeline to that of pro when it comes down to the college and high schools. And now we're seeing that high schools and colleges are providing scholarships and opportunities and even education when it comes down to it. So it's starting to develop. And Christopher Turner is like right in the midst of that. And so Christopher Turner, kind of speak on some of the things that you have had to do in order to establish a high school program on your campus.
Man, that's a loaded question. I think it kind of goes back to kind of what Derek hinted to. You have to build community first. You have to educate not only the parents, but the students and everybody that's within the community. I mean, it starts there. It really ends there, to be honest. I mean, growing up, especially our generation on this panel, it was lawyer, doctor, football player, basketball player. And now we have kids saying they want to be streamers, they want to be content creators. And so I think, leaning on Derek again, it's all about that economic freedom and showing everybody that it's more pathways. I know we focus on pro, but it's more pathways within that tech, MR, VR. The new buzzword right now is metaverse. And so it's so many alleyways to careers and pathways, but, just growing that ecosystem and not only focusing on the game itself. Like, everybody's not going to be Brent. We have to be honest with our demographic and tell them that, like Brent is a talent. And so, hey, how can I make six figures? How can I be comfortable with my lifestyle and still be around something I love, which is gaming? And so that's the overall hierarchy of it, man. But, growing, being the only coach in the country to grow high school, pre-K through 12th grade, high school, collegiate and graduate is quite a feat. But it all starts with somebody that has a vision. And, like I said, I got to go back to community. It takes a community to do such a big task.
That's awesome. And, you're essentially making, Derek's job easier by developing those students when it comes down to being ready to, represent organizations and entities and corporations. And so, Derek, kind of speak in regards to, why did you even start? Why did you feel as if like there was a huge need to create High Point Gamer? And, speak on, some of the dynamics on tournament organizing, because I personally feel like tournament organizing is the precipice of esports. It's everything. It's the person that engages with the marketing side, the competition side, the production side. That individual or individuals really shape this industry. So talk about your experience with High Point Gamer.
So we started off by producing tournaments, and the goal at the time was to give our teenagers in the community something to do that was also economically empowering. And we're like, hey, we got a bunch of Madden 2K kids. Why don't we have them come out for a tournament and they can win $1,000? But when we started having people come from Maine and California to enter our tournaments, we were like, okay, this is kind of a thing. And so as I did more research, it's like, yeah, this thing is esports. Now, I'm a competitive gamer, but I was drinking the Kool-Aid that gaming was a waste of time. So I would do professional work, come home and compete at night at the old school games like SOCOM and Halo, etc. Going through Reddit and GeoCity chats, setting up tournaments, not realizing it was esports at the time. And doing so, I was able to meet up with O'Leary. O'Leary was actually won our tournament, our Madden tournament, and that started our relationships to where I was able to go along with his journey into the 2K League. And to be honest, man, sitting in the 2K League, the initial draft, and I'm looking around and seeing a lot of NBA players, because that's what these gamers were becoming, and they were minority. And their stories were, I gamed to stay out the streets while my homies were selling pills or whatever, or I don't have any support here at the draft, even though I'm becoming an NBA 2K player with a salary, because the community that I'm coming from, one, can't afford to book their own flight to come and support me in hotel room. Two, they see video games and hear video games and think I'm not really doing something that's beneficial. And so I said, how can I create and keep this opportunity so that more people can maximize this opportunity? And I realized that one of the main faults of the 2K League was that these individuals were coming straight off the couch into the league, meaning that they were focused on gameplay. They didn't understand business acumen. They weren't thinking entrepreneurship. They weren't thinking branding. A lot of people were thinking, oh, I don't want to post on Instagram. I don't want to do these other things that the team needed them to do in order to support the sponsors. And I said, hey, how can I build an ecosystem around that so we can create these opportunities and maintain these opportunities and help make esports successful? Because I know there's a lot of naysayers that are out there like, oh, it ain't going to be like traditional sports, or waiting for us to fail. And so individuals like us that put into it to help make it a success allows us to continue to be viable so that people can use opportunity, man.
That's perfect. And so one of the coolest things is that we keep throwing this word esports around. So, Christopher Turner, if you can do me a huge favor and kind of talk about your perspective on the definition of esports. What does esports mean for those out there that are like, what is that even? Is that a thing?
Plain and simple, competitive gaming. I mean, we've done it in our culture for years. I mean, we all gathered around consoles before, the internet was a thing. And met at houses, met at, cousins' houses or friends' houses, and took turns and did mini tournaments. I mean, it's been a part of our culture for years. Within the last couple of years, though, due to the internet and due to technology growing, you have leagues. And I know Danny's looking at me, but he's going to go on his 1970 something rant, which is great. But, I just want to talk from a Black perspective, to be honest. And so, due to the internet coming full circle, and it's not really full accessibility to everybody. I don't want to mislead in that direction, but it's grown. I mean, over COVID, it grew like, maybe 400 to 500 times what it was. And so this thing is not slowing down. I like to say that it's a sub culture of the gaming community as a whole, but like your question was, it's competitive gaming, plain and simple.
Plain and simple. And, esports is made up of several different genres. So you have your fighting genres, you have your sports genres, you have your MOBA genres, you have your racing genres, you have your fighting genres. And so ultimately each actual genre has its own gaming titles, and respectively, they have their own communities. One of the coolest things is that each of the communities are different, and it's ultimately cool to be able to identify which community is for you and really showcasing value to that community. The communities are very, authentic. They're like families. They fight and bicker. It's just like you're going to a family reunion. So ultimately, it's about finding what fits you within the actual esports and gaming space. And this is where you see the coolest dynamics in which games and developers are providing right now. And a lot of individuals, when I talk to individuals about the leagues that are out there and the prize purses that are out there and the career opportunities that are out there, Brent, if you could do me a huge favor and really speak on what is the 2K League, and what is 5v5 gaming look like for individuals who didn't even think that there was opportunity there? Kind of speak on, your thought processes on what the 2K League is.
So NBA 2K League, basically consists of 5-on-5 gameplay. There's 6 players on a team, only 5 play. We each control one position. So let's say there's 5 of us in this panel. One is a point guard, one is a shooting guard, one small forward, one power forward, one center. So we're all playing together against other NBA and esports organizations, and we're competing for quite a big prize pool. I think this season was 1.5 million. So we have a regular season format, then we have tournaments throughout the season, and that's how you make bonus money. And then we have a playoffs, and then of course NBA 2K League finals. So it's very similar to the NBA. We traveled a little bit this year for playoffs. Finally, normally we travel every week. So, that's bonuses. If you like to travel, you get flight miles, hotel points. So if you're into stuff like that and vacations afterwards, the league is beneficial, man. But all jokes aside, yeah, so that's basically like kind of a rundown of it. And that's kind of how it works.
Perfect. And so, it takes a process to go pro. So, Derek, from a tournament organizing and running a company, what are some of the technology that you use in order to facilitate your task?
So I have a project management tool where I coordinate with my staff and group as far as like what is the marketing timeline, what is the marketing deliverables, contents, a repository for all those assets that you're going to promote with. Then we have our tournament technology that manages the brackets, the registration, the setup, the logging of winners and users. And then we have the technology standpoint from a stream support of showing what you're doing at the tournament, and then social media, that technology that's involved in that. And each area of technology has a branch of opportunities and jobs that people can fill and positions to fill that it's not just about the person that's playing the video game. It's about the whole ecosystem, as you say, is supporting it. And when it's an ecosystem, that means there's more opportunities and it's a diverse range of opportunities for people to participate, whether they're good at content creation, whether they're good at organizing, whether they're good at selling and sponsorship and marketing. It's something for everyone, man. That's what makes it so exciting for me.
That's awesome. And then Chris, from your perspective, can you speak on, some of the colleges and, community colleges and high schools that are, well, not so much high schools, but, what programs do you know that out there our audience can span all across the country? And so at this point, kind of give some high schools that that have esports programs or starting esports programs, and some colleges out there that are providing scholarships when it comes down to participating in esports programs.
I mean, I think, you have over 200 colleges that have esports organizations on campus, whether it's student ran or actually funded by the university. And so, you have like your small colleges, like on the East Coast, like Shenandoah. You have a big program like Boise or OU, where my friend Mood is at. And so, you're starting to see like Power 5 schools get into esports. And so just yesterday I saw Moog post a post, and he had foundation checks going towards his kids. And so, if we have any parents watching this, like, stop telling your son or daughter to get off the game. Like, find out what they're curious about, besides gameplay, and kind of get them on the track, whether it be animation or coding or tournament organization or anything like that of their nature within the ecosystem, because the time is now. I mean, I tell my friends all the time, I tell parents that I talk to all the time, like, for our generation, we didn't have buy-in into the NBA or the NFL. We didn't have the finances to invest in a Google. But this gaming industry is so rapid and so wide that we have an opportunity here, whether it's from an educational standpoint, whether it's from ownership, education. The sky's the limit. You just have to plug and go at this point. But with that said, I would be fussed at if I didn't shout out my own university, Southern University. We plan on providing some scholarships within the next following year. So look forward to that announcement. We're HBCU. We're the only HBCU in the country that has a system. So we have 3 different campuses within our system and 6 different entities. And so esports is a priority within the system, and we look forward to growing it. But, you can almost, Google a long list, and it's growing every day. I said 200 plus because that number grows daily. People are launching rooms and launching programs daily. They see the retention and the recruitment aspect of it, and they're plugging and going. But I will say, it's just like any other traditional sport. Find a university that you can get something out of. Just don't go just to say you're playing on a team. Get something in return. Make sure that you're educating yourself, and it's the right move for you.
That's perfect. So Brent, you could go ahead and say it. You're one of the top esports NBA 2K athletes in the world at this point right now. Kind of talk about, what's your day in a life before how do you prep for a championship game in a league that has a prize purse of $1.5 million? What does that day look like for you?
Yeah, so I mean, for us, it was like a week before for the finals. So I mean, it's a lot of film, studying your opponent, learning tendencies, just being ready. So when the game is said, done, the series is over, you make sure that you left it all out there, just like you're playing real sports. You want to make sure you give it your all. No ifs, ands, or I coulda, shoulda, woulda, did this, but so just making sure you give your all, and you're just mentally and just physically prepared to play as best as possible as you can and be able to step up and make that extra play for your team or whatever's needed in your role. Every position is kind of different and team role is different. So just making sure you're maximizing and being the most efficient in your role.
That's awesome. And the parents that are out there, they're like, man, I may think that, gamers are just sitting around eating chips all day and unhealthy and, not thinking about their mental health and wellness is a big topic right now. What does your esports organization do to ensure that you guys are healthy and your mental is in check?
Yeah, so with the Jazz, we all have gym memberships. The gym in Utah is called Vasa, so we all get free membership. Obviously, it's paid for. So we have vehicles, so we're able to travel to the gym whenever we want. So, I mean, we have quite a few of my teammates were big on working out, and then some of us go and just shoot around hoop, or some people just like to run. So, I mean, that's something they offer us. And then, I mean, it's just everything's pretty much accessible. If there's something you want to do, all you have to do is pretty much talk to management, and they're very supportive. And a lot of people in the league kind of are documenting their journeys. A lot of people have been like losing weight and just doing well about, like as you spoke on, it is a big topic. So I would say just as a whole, the NBA 2K League is doing a pretty good job of, changing that stereotype and just being more concerned and putting more effort into keeping their mental right and just making sure they're keeping their physical uptake right.
Perfect. And last question for you, Brent, before I come back to you, and I'm gonna go to Derek. What are the other gaming titles that are out there that you see that has a large participation of minorities and African Americans? And I kind of speak on those what you see in the space.
Yeah, so I mean, if we're talking just minorities, obviously Madden, EA Sports puts a lot of money into the Madden franchise, so tons of minorities who play that. If the Madden challenges happened recently, and so somebody just made, I think, like $50,000 for one tournament from that. So there's definitely a lot of money in that community. If we're just talking minorities, FIFA has a pretty good, because they're international, so that's another EA Sports title. So a lot of sports titles, obviously, sports usually have a good minority backing, different minority backing. I mean, there's tons of money esports just in general, but those are the top that stand off in my head as far as like minority participation.
Perfect. That's awesome. And I have to add too, the FGC, which is the fighting game community, is made up of like Street Fighter, Tekken, Mortal Kombat, Guilty Gear, Smash. You typically will see, if you go to events, this is a community that's very land-based, and ultimately it's like one of the best opportunities for me when I used to travel all around. I used to love going to FGC. I still do, not used to. I still love, COVID, at this point, but ultimately going to those environments and seeing individuals compete and share knowledge, and it's just an overall opportunity to see individuals on, consoles competing in the actual FGC community. And so that was one of the communities I see that's very diverse as just as much. Unluckily, games like League of Legends, even in this instance, the actual league itself has approximately like one to two professionals that are from a minority perspective in the actual space. And that should change. There should be a lot more involvement. But when you think about it, it's an elephant of access. Typically, a lot of individuals and communities do not have the resources, and the games that are played on PC are typically the games you see with the highest prize purse and the better participation. But it's ultimately, when you think about a PC, you think about the expense of a PC. And so you see that, there's an opportunity for organizations to be able to provide areas where individuals can participate in PC gaming, while at the same time helping grow the console-based gaming. So therefore, individuals can be able to have successful journeys inside of this space. And so that's one of the coolest things that I see, as well as the FGC community from a diversity perspective. And so Derek, question for you as a founder of an esports organization. What are some of your obstacles, some of the pain points? What are you looking for in order to be able to help you grow your organization? Kind of speak on some of those things, so therefore the next founder or the aspiring founder out there can be aware of these things, so therefore their journey can be that much more quicker during the process.
So personally, my main challenges that I have to overcome is, because I'm focused or hypersensitive to more minority participation, that there's a wall for that, right? So in our community, I have to do a lot of educating on the opportunities that's available, but I can't just expose. I also have to make it look cool and something that they want to do, because I know that I'm competing with people wanting to be rappers and professional athletes or even just influencers online, because that's what a lot of people see, not realizing that you could take trips to Cabo off of being a coder or anything else in the tech space. And so I think the main challenge I have to deal with is just knowing that there's a different level of education and patience that goes into getting more minority participation. And then from a business side, the challenge has also been those with the money are from an older generation that think that gaming sucks, that think of their grandson that they're annoyed with, that comes to the family gatherings and go up into the other room playing video games versus engaging with their family and community, and they blame it on video games. And so again, educating them on the opportunities and the value of esports and gaming is what I've spent a lot of time on.
Yes, that's awesome. So what other career opportunities do you see right now that are growing in the space of esports and gaming? And you can kind of, you can go both ways, gaming, esports. What do you see right now as far as the career opportunities that people are not really recognizing right now that is needed in this space?
I'm a big pusher for content creation, people that are able to make digital assets. The NFT world and blockchain is blowing up, and someone needs to make those NFTs and graphics for the value standpoint. And if you don't have a computer, if you're not creating in Photoshop, Illustrator, etc., you're missing out on those economic opportunities. So I always push people to say, hey, get that laptop, go ahead and pay that $50 a month for Adobe Creative Suite, get on YouTube and learn some basic videos, because a lot of content is needed because of all these technology platforms. You take organizations like, let's use 2K, for example. A lot of those people that are doing that work are wearing double hats. I'm over here making the graphics for the actual NBA team, and while I have time, I'll go over here and do stuff for the esports team, because content is so heavy to chop down videos, recording the videos, making the motion graphics. All of that stuff is manpower heavy. And so more people able to fill those roles means that more content is able to be exposed, more people are able to get employed, and it creates that ecosystem. So that's where I see the value. There's a lot of other things to do, but I say get into that content, because there's no age limit or anything to that.
That's awesome. And then Chris, being in the position where you're working with high school students and college students, how could you, specifically from a high school perspective, what advice could you give a parent what advice would you give a parent in regards to supporting their youth in regards to esports and gaming?
I mean, they're already spending money on the consoles. I mean, if you want to convert over to PC, that's fine. Just take away a couple Jordans. If you can't do that, you can go online and actually do a purchase, and pay for it monthly. Educate yourself as well as your kid. Take them to summer camps for coding. Take them to summer camps for gaming. People are in the industry are providing services for little or nothing at this point. I'm quite sure Derek did some internships. Brent goes to Esports during the summer. Danny, you have education platforms. I mean, it's here for the grab. I mean, you just have to go look for it and really, really deep dive. If it's something that you see that your kid is in, I mean, we've done it in our community for years. We force our young men to go out and play football. We force them to go play basketball. Like, we don't force them into an industry that you can create wealth in. Like, it's a lottery pick for you to go and try to make it to the NFL. Like I said before, like Brent is like the top 1%. You know what I'm saying? So, if you look at the other 99% and you say, hey, this is the track, you can still be around it. You can still take your trips to Cabo, like Derek said. You can still, post your pictures on Instagram and floss and show that you're on flights. You can do that, but you can do that with some kind of substance or some kind of training that provides you that lifestyle.
That's perfect. And then Brent, question for you. Where's the community? If you're an aspiring gamer, where would you go in order to be a part of the community? Talk about some of the technology platforms that individuals can utilize to, be a part of the community and start to get their name recognized.
So Twitter's big in the gaming community. As far as like conversation, getting to know people, networking. And then if you're not using Twitter, LinkedIn is popular, but sometimes I feel like LinkedIn is kind of just add people and people don't follow up. But that's my personal opinion. Some people make great connections on LinkedIn, but those are two things that just stand out quickly to me. But definitely when it comes to gaming, Twitter is definitely somewhere where you can meet somebody. Usually people are pretty friendly as far as, being able to segregate you to someone else who can help out, whether you're looking for something or whether that's a job opportunity possibly, or looking for a team if you're a gamer. So I would say Twitter is a pretty good space as far as getting to meet people and networking and talking with individuals in the same like space.
Perfect. Thank you for that,
I'd like
Brent.
to add to that.
Yeah.
Discord, like our community needs to get familiar with Discord because Discord is a big part of the gaming community. I know if you talk to most in our community, they'll know what Twitter is. And then I say, get a Discord. They're like, what's that? So Discord is definitely a platform that we should get acclimated to because a lot of the gaming community is on Discord.
That's perfect. And then, to follow back up with that, Derek, what platforms do you utilize as a founder and individual who runs an organization? How do you make your connections? What technology platform do you utilize?
So I'm big on LinkedIn. The power of being able to actually connect to decision makers and those professionally is like awesome. Like we had that back in the day and coming up, that would be great. So I push people to get on LinkedIn so you can connect professionally. And then, of course, the Instagrams, those Instagram DMs are definitely hitting. And Facebook, do not underestimate Facebook because a lot of the decision makers, as well as like the parents and stuff, are on Facebook. And so able to connect that way and make connections is one of my go-tos.
That's awesome.
I'm not big on Twitter, though. I play on Twitter, but I can't keep up with it. I'm so ADD. I need pictures. Man.
Oh man, that's the same. Twitter was like a really big thing, for me. And then, I started really heavily going towards LinkedIn and I'm actively like feeling kind of bad because I want to pick up all of them, but you can't really, you only got 24 hours in a day. So I'm just like, Twitter is very, engaging with knowing what's happening in the esports space. And then LinkedIn from a business perspective is just also just really, really cool. And Discord is like one of those things where I'm like, gosh, we got to do a better job on Discord because it's right there and it's one of the most engaging tools and building a community, right? That's one of the coolest elements. And so, last question before before we wrap it up and we do an overall question for everyone. Christopher Turner, right now, you have your sights on being that first entity organization in Louisiana to go through or probably even the country to have a high school and a collegiate pathway. What is going to be your biggest accomplishment that you're seeking for the next year? Esports moves incredibly fast, or 2 years or 10 years from now. What is something that you're looking for right now as far as your next big accomplishment? What are you gunning for right now?
That's a chill question. I got chills. Definitely the launch of a tier 1 esports room on an HBC campus. There's, I hate to say I'm the first, but I'm just gonna say it's a tier 1 esports facility on an HBCU campus, providing scholarships, and then going outside of the university itself and really start to program that room for our community, which is minority. A lot of them don't have opportunities, busing kids into the space and really growing it from a community standpoint. And like I said before, it's a community first type of program. And so more of a holistic approach to the madness. Derek said, you said, I consider myself a LinkedIn king. I post often. I just want to be transparent about what we're trying to do at Southern University. So to answer your question, for sure, that tier 1 esports facility and scholarship opportunities for my students.
That's perfect. And so we're short on time. So what we'll do is, we'll go by everyone and just give a quick, insight in regards to your last words that you want to provide out there to parents, aspiring gamers, educators, corporate individuals, whatever you want to do. Just give a quick and then let individuals know where they can find you. This panel is so dynamic. We really want to touch on a lot of the high points, but we can talk for hours. And so this is an opportunity to reach out to the individuals who are speaking. They're all really great at what they do in the space, and they're consistently humble and learning every single day. So you may teach them something or two, and then vice versa. So Brent, kind of give, your last remarks, and then tell individuals where they can find you.
Yeah, so to touch on what you said, basically just something I always kind of preach on or harp on is don't be afraid to pursue what you love or want to do. There is a way to make it happen. If there isn't like a door open, find a way to kick the door down and make it yourself, man. That's something I strongly believe in. Nobody thought that professional gaming would be a thing. There wasn't, like, when I was trying to pursue this, esports you didn't call this esports. You didn't call the gaming community esports. It was just, oh, you're trying to play video games. So, and look at where we're at now. So I won't continue to harp on that, but Twitter, my Twitter name is Lord Beezus, LORDBEEZUS 1_. And I'm on Instagram, BeezyThor, BeezyThor. Thank you for having me again. Anybody, whoever's watching this, feel free to reach out if you have questions, if I can help you in any way, or maybe direct you in that right path in which can help you maybe make a proper connection that helps you. I'm that guy. So let me know if I can help. Thanks again for having me.
That's awesome. And then Derek, you too, my man.
So I just want to say, recognize that in your generation, you won't know what the future is you can't predict that. So it's best to support the younger generation and what they're into and what they have interest, because they will be the future. They will be running it. That's my main takeaway. You can connect with me on High Point Gamer, all one word, on all social media platforms. Find me on LinkedIn. I'm definitely always open. www.highpointgamer.com is our website. And
That's
thanks
awesome.
so much for having me. I appreciate it.
For sure. This is Black in Tech. And then Christopher, close us out, my man.
I would just say if you're watching this, you're minority, African American, Black, whatever you identify with, let's make tech gaming and everything esports, VR, whatever, MR, AI, whatever's in the tech space, like, let's make it cool. Let's make it cool enough for these children, for this next generation to get on board, because this is where we're going to be. This is where we're going to live. It's no turning back. Let's develop those skill sets. You can follow me on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. It's Go Play ES, GEAUX Play ES. And you can find me on LinkedIn, Christopher Turner.
Wow, this has been amazing. Quick, rapid fire questions, very critical things to be able to think of. And for everyone that's out there, please do not hesitate to reach out to these individuals. And that's how the community is in esports and gaming. We stick close, we talk a lot, and we're always looking to be able to grow, and you can grow with us just as much. And so to close it out, again, you can find us at exposure.gg. Also on LinkedIn, you can find me at Danny Martin. And also, just ultimately not just follow us, but ultimately you can utilize these platforms to learn who they are engaging with when it comes down to their connections. So span your network by reaching out to these individuals. So therefore you can be exposed to the career opportunities, to the engagements, to the growth of the esports and gaming industry. Without further ado, we are out, and thank you so much. This has been a really cool experience to represent and speak on esports and gaming for Black is Tech. Take it easy, everyone. Peace, peace.